Yeah. Damn, kid, always down. While my chin always pointed to the ground. Hang my head when I'm walking around. I wipe tears from my face on my bathroom towel. Until a typhoon came through when I met you. Cloudy days, let the sun through. Now I smile at the sunroof, yeah. Maybe I'm crazy, I'm out of my mind, but nobody makes me come to life like you. Said everything that I do, just know I do it for you. Maybe I'm stupid, ignoring the signs, but you're on my brain like all the time. It's true that even when I dream, just know I'm dreaming of you. Yeah. So
What is going on, everybody? Welcome the Alex Cuesta Show Hangout stream. Nothing better than being 40 minutes late to your own show, but that's one of the benefits of having your own show. You can kind of jump on whenever you would like, and curtain being pulled back. I was chit-chatting with one of my favorite people, and then time just got away from us, but it is what it is. So hello, everybody. Because I'm starting so much later, I have no idea how long I'm going to hang out for, but I'll be here for a little bit. So I appreciate everybody that is watching, wherever you are watching from. YouTube X, Facebook, Kick, Rumble. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And go follow us on the socials at the Alex Cuesta Show. So things are still brewing in the background. The switch over to a new channel is still in the works. I got some cool stuff going there. The show is not going to be much different than what it is now. It's just going to be a new channel, a new look. And I think it's going to be something that people really like and people really enjoy. So look forward to that. There won't be the Dragon Ball background that I have over here, which I tend to enjoy. But Coach Farrell jumping in, saying Manchester football's here, brother. What's up, Coach? Happened to be the individual that I was just speaking to for, I don't even know how long we were talking for, but just bullshit. And so always good seeing Coach Farrell hanging out. But it's still snowy outside. And it still seems like in the Northeast that our highway crews, are struggling up here. And it's, again, I criticize all the time because I've lived in the Northeast my whole life. We have had snow my whole life. And yes, this one was big. Don't get me wrong. Over here, we got like 18 inches, 16 inches, something like that. But I mean, it's not shit that we haven't dealt with before. So we have that. But I know they're calling for potentially another big storm this Saturday, Sunday. But there's nothing showing up on my weather app yet. And I use the Google weather, and Google weather has been on point. I'm not going to lie. Nate, what's going on, brother? How are you? But Google's been on point. So we'll see. We'll see if there's more snow this weekend or not. I hope not. And Nate, I know I'm talking about snow, and you're going to make some comment about how gorgeous it is, and I'm going to be jealous of you. But I'm ready to go, ready to have some fun. We've had plenty of things going on in the world, and I am here to talk about some of it. Some of it's going to be me whining and complaining about my stupid Jets. But you guys are going to just sit here and take it. But before we get to that, I want to jump to this. So I don't know why do we do this? Why do we do this restream? Why do we have this where it's not set? Don't make me get mad at you, restream. Anyway, so I want to start off here with some nerdy stuff because I thought that this was some nostalgia. Picked up my daughter in shorts and a t-shirt today. I mean, Nate, why do you got to be like that? Why do you got to make me so sad? But this from GNG.com, geeksandgamers.com. Nintendo revised Virtual Boy on Switch and Switch 2, $99 accessory plus games launch in February 26. Alex Gurzo with the article. I mean, this is the promotional image for the Virtual Boy. It's a beautiful thing. I never had a Virtual Boy, but I know people that did. And God, the headache-inducing virtual reality for the Virtual Boy was a thing of wonders, but I'd imagine now it is going to be different, even though I hope it's not. I hope they continue to have all of the major headaches and shit like that. But let's read what they have to say here. Nintendo is bringing back Virtual Boy, and it's coming via the Nintendo Classics line on the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack service next month, along with an attachment for the Switch and Switch 2. Virtual Boy was a new VR system Nintendo released in 1995. At least that's how it was advertised. In truth, it wasn't virtual reality. It used stereoscopic 3D technology to create 3D images, but was not the immersive experience of virtual reality. Similarly, the helmet was stationary, something you planted on a desk or table and couldn't move about like a VR helmet. It was also a failure. Nintendo discontinued the Virtual Boy a year after its debut with only 22 games released as it made its way for the Nintendo 64. So yeah, the Virtual Boy, some people remember it, people enjoy it. I know over at Side Scrollers, you have Phoenix over there who talks fondly about his Virtual Boy, and I know he plays it. Look at this thing of beauty. Look at it. But now with the Switch Nintendo Classics line, the Virtual Boy is making a comeback with 7 games launching on February 17th and the promise of more to come. Galactic Pinball, Telero Boxer, Red Alarm, 3D Tetris, Virtual Boy Warrior Land, which sounds freaking awesome, Golf, which is going to be fun, and the Mansion of Innsmouth will be available right away. According to the trailer, which you can watch below, Mario Clash, Mario Tennis, Jack Bros, Space Invaders, Virtual Collection, Virtual Bowling, Vertical Force, and V Tetris will be released throughout the year. Then in late 2026, 2 previously unreleased games will be available, Zero Racers and D Hopper. Also coming later this year is the ability to change the screen color from the usual red to green, yellow, or black and white. I don't want to get hit with anything because my channel got hit for the stupid WWE stuff. I'm not taking a chance. So go on to geeksandgamers.com and you can watch this over there. Go read this article. And it talks about playing them and stuff like that. What else will be? And this is the classic red look for the Virtual Boy and stuff like that. This I think is cool. It was one of the Nintendo Direct pieces. I thought that this was awesome. Farrell asking, who's a bigger nerd, me or Hack No Cap? It's close. You got to remember, Farrell, I basically helped raise Hack No Cap. So he's a nerd by proxy of me. A lot of the anime shit is from me and David being his influence. So 100%. From Paz, tell Questy needs a haircut. Bro, he can't even spell your name right. I mean, Paz, you love my hair. You love it. Don't be mean. But anyway, so yeah, the Virtual Boy's back. That's exciting. So next, let's talk about how stupid my fucking Jets are. So this is Zach Rosenblatt from The Athletic. The Jets are parting ways with offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrand per source. Jets had planned to change his role and strip him of play calling and were actively pursuing veteran coaches to replace him. Now the Jets will have to go through the Rooney Rule process to hire a new OC. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? The Jets are a joke. Aaron Glenn's a fucking joke at this point. I've tried to give Aaron Glenn so many benefits of the doubt as much as I can. But man, what is going on? I get it. The Jets sucked. Steve Wilkes was bad. We knew it. The defense was terrible. It was vanilla. It was easy. How are you firing Tanner Engstrand? What could he have done on offense? And I think Robbie Sorbo, we're going to look at his kind of look at it right here. And I share a lot of what Robbie says. Robbie Sabo. Sorry, Robbie. It was impossible to have a strong opinion about Tanner Engstrand in 2025. With Justin Fields, the offense is constructed in a specific way. AKA, Justin Fields fucking sucked, okay? Justin Fields was terrible. And I knew he was going to suck. I said he was going to suck the moment we got him. So I am not surprised that he was so bad. But again, Engstrand was stuck with him. Let's keep seeing what Robbie says here. With that, while that helps the rushing attack, taking defenders out of the equation when having to stay home for the QB in zone read RPO, it also makes it tougher for the play caller in the passing game. The biggest unanswered question for me was this: to what degree did Aaron Glenn set the offense? He wanted Fields and he wanted a rush first offense. What parameters, if any, were placed on Engstrand? And I will put with that, it's obvious that Engstrand could not open up his playbook when it came to Fields. Because the main reason, when we had Tyrod Taylor running the show, we were a much better looking offense. You saw creativity in the play calling. Was Engstrand perfect? No. But you saw a lot more creativity, a lot more motion. The offense looked like a professional offense. Now, at this point in Tyrod Taylor's career, is he a winning quarterback? No. At one point, he was a decent quarterback. But the difference this year with Taylor was he was pushing the ball down the field. I remember watching him last year with the Giants. He was a dink and dunk king. This year, he was pushing the ball down the field. So that's one. Number two, how are you fully going to judge Engstrand when Garrett Wilson was hurt and he ended up being your leading receiver with 325 yards? There was no true number two. So to put this all on Engstrand, when you didn't give him the horses, you gave him Breece Hall, Breece Hall was great as he always is. He ran the ball well. He's a competent receiver. Breece Hall was a stud as he always is. Mason Taylor had learning pains, but looked okay. Your lead receiver in Garrett Wilson gets hurt, and then you have no real number two. You know, they brought in Mechie, they brought in Adonai Mitchell and things like that. Now, they never really panned out as viable options. Mitchell's going to stay on the team because he can at least be a long threat. He showed some playmaking ability, but we need a two with Wilson, and we need a quarterback to get him the ball. You didn't have, you couldn't see what Engstrand could call because he didn't have a quarterback. His lead receiver was gone. He only had a running back who they could key in on. You had Mechie, who's a glorified slot receiver, who's not great. You had Alan Lazard, who fucking sucks. You had Arian Smith, who has not done anything great. Like, what are we doing here? How are you going to judge this guy? Nate's saying leading an NFL team with 300 yards is a wild stat, right? Insane. Coach Farrell, my opinion, they fix it by committing to stability, build the O-line, pick one offensive system, stop chasing quick QB fixes, and let the defense plus identity carry them long-term. I agree with all this. Now, the O-line was the only O-line in the NFL that was the same O-line for all 17 games. And Joe Simpson wasn't great, but good enough. Good enough where this O-line wasn't the problem. Justin Fields couldn't read a friggin' defense. We have two tackles that are our tackles of the future in Olu Fashanu and Membu. They were fantastic. With one being a rookie, playing really well, and the other one looking really good. You have Myers coming in at center, playing really well, playing just fine. And you had, God, I forget the former center's name who kicked to guard when Vera Tucker got hurt. Vera Tucker gets healthy. You don't need him to play guard anymore. He can kick back to center, or he could take over Joe Simpson's spot. The line isn't the issue. I like our line. I think our line's okay. They're good enough. One offensive system, I agree. QB fixes. I have already said I don't even want to draft a quarterback. I want Malik Willis. I think Malik Willis has shown enough, especially over in Green Bay. He deserves a spot to start. He gives you everything you thought you were getting with Justin Fields with competency. He plants the foot and throws it. He's just as athletic, maybe a little bit less. I think Justin Fields is a great wide receiver in the NFL if he can catch. I've said it before. But I agree with you. Enough with the quick QB fixes. The only issue with that, Farrell, is every time we draft someone, we fucking suck anyway. We don't have anyone that could build a quarterback. So that's part of it. Farrell also saying, agree with your reasoning for the OC, stop the quick fixes. Yes. Let's keep seeing what Robbie's saying here. Far too often, offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators are elevated independently of the head coach, when that should never happen. The head coach sets the vision, tone, weekly game plans, etc., and the offensive coordinators have to work within that structure. They rarely, if ever, have 100% freedom to operate, which that's under a good head coach, right? That's under a good head coach that can manage everything. Coach Farrell's commenting here. Coach Farrell's is the coach, head coach over at my former high school, Manchester. And even at that level in the high school, as the head coach, he sets the standard. He sets the parameters for what he wants his play caller to do on both sides of the ball. And if that's not getting followed, then it's up to him to put it into line. And that's the difference, and that separates good head coaches from bad ones. I loved Rex. Rex loved the defense, but he never paid attention to the offense enough. I believe that he was not overseeing the game plan on the offensive side enough, and I think that ultimately hurt him. So there's a lot to be said with having to stick within that. Let's keep going here. I think the last time I saw a Jets coordinator operate freely was Greg Williams. And when he and Adam Gase basically represented a dual head coach type of setup, which never works, but that's a completely different story for another day. And yeah, Adam Gase was terrible. And I like Greg Williams. He got into a lot of trouble. His play styles, his coaching style is way too low. He definitely seems kind of like a dirtbag, but I mean, he got the guys to want to kill people, which is what you want to do essentially in football. You want to hit them as hard as you can. Last thing he says, do I think Engstrand was great this past season? No, not really. But I also don't know how much freedom he was given. I do know this, though. His departure, based on the available context, is a terrible sign. And I agree with that. And here's an even worse sign. Zach Rosenblatt came back and said the Jets reached out to John Gruden about the idea of joining Aaron Glenn's staff. According to multiple sources, Gruden wasn't interested in the job. And this has got to be one of the few high-profile individuals that Connor Hughes mentioned that the Jets tried to court. And he said no. And I know Gruden's been itching to get back into the NFL. I getting back into the NFL is one of the things, and I don't know. I think it's such a train wreck that Gruden said, fuck that. Farrell says, agree with everything that tweet said. Then why did the Bills hire Joe Brady? Very weird hire to me. It's not like he managed Allen well in the playoffs. Farrell, I think that's a relationship thing. I think you're looking at Allen, and Allen is obviously their guy of the future. They're not getting rid of Josh Allen as much as I think McDermott's fantastic. I thought McDermott did a great job there. But I think there's definitely something where the Pagulas consulted with Josh Allen and were probably like, how comfortable are you with Joe Brady? And I think Allen probably went to bat for him. Did he manage him well in the playoffs? No. But at the same time, a lot of these franchises, I feel like they feel the need to make these guys comfortable now instead of making tough decisions for them. So, I mean, instead of going, hey, no, fuck you, we don't care who you want, we're going to go get the best person, they go, no, Alan, you really like Joe Brady? Let's go, and we'll find out, right? Maybe Joe Brady really was the mastermind and McDermott wasn't, and that's why McDermott's gone. I don't know. We'll see. Listen, fuck the Bills. If they go down in flames because his hire is terrible, I'm happy. Nate's saying Josh Allen is the head coach. Seems that way, right? He's kind of doing the LeBron thing. So that's troubling. That is troubling to me because in the end, the bottom line with the Jets, I'm not judging Tanner Engstrand because I can't see what his vision actually was, right? He wasn't able to run his offense. Now I know they've been talking to Frank Reich. Is Frank Reich the fix? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And on top of that, who's pining for Frank Reich that we're going after him? The NFL doesn't want Frank Reich. And then you look at Wink Martindale for a defensive coordinator. A lot of people want Wink. I don't think Wink has had an interview. So we're going to bring in these older guys that have more of an old school mentality that have to come deal with these young kids. And for me, if I'm Aaron Glenn, I'm not hiring any of these fucking older guys. Makes me easy to get fired. Real easy to get fired. You bring Frank Reich and Wink Martindale in here, and I have a shit start again. How quick is Muji going to sit there and go, Sorry, Frank already has head coaching experience, has had some success as a head coach. Bye, Aaron. Like, that's not a smart move. I would hire kids fresh out of fucking college if I was Aaron Glenn for his two positions. Like, if I'm going to go down in flames, I'm going to at least make it so that the guys behind me are worse. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think he's in a bad situation that he kind of created on his own. Now, I know Joe Lombardi over in Denver was just fired. Um, uh, I know, Joe Lombardi could be a candidate, right? He didn't call plays there, but he was overseeing and helping out with a really good offense. Maybe if you give him another super young quarterback, like he did go with Bo Nix. So maybe if a young quarterback comes over and Lombardi can do it. I don't know. But I think the issue is, and for us as Jets fans, we look at this and go after this coach, go after that coach. Who the fuck wants to come to us? Why would you want to come to the New York Jets? What is the promise of anything good coming to the New York Jets? What do we have to offer? Okay, Garrett Wilson's great. Breece Hall's awesome. Cool, right? That's good. You have two good weapons. Mason Taylor could become something. The O-line seems steady. Great. Who's throwing the ball? Is there a plan? Because right now, what this is, it is up to Aaron Glenn and Muji to sell their plan. And it's concerning to me that you're not getting coaches that even want to listen. Because that just means that they think you're a fucking mess and that you're a lame duck. And if that's the case, if people are unwilling to talk to Aaron Glenn, then he's already a lame duck. And you got to cut him loose. You got to cut him loose. So, unfortunately, we're already dealing with the lost season. I don't think it really matters what happens next year. I think we're in turmoil either way. I think Aaron Glenn is a quarter of the season deep before he's gone, unless they're like 2-2 and looking good. I can't see him making it past the next 4 or 5 games, especially if he puts a veteran former head coach behind him. Why wouldn't Woody Johnson or Muji go, hey, it's not working, guys. Get out of here. You're done. So, going to be interesting. Absolutely going to be interesting. Something that's not interesting and something that is absolutely ridiculous. Adam Schefter reporting over here. Bill Belichick, the 8-time Super Bowl winning head coach, is not a first ballot Hall of Famer per Seth Wicksham. And I don't know who DVN Jr. is. Maybe I should. Let me click on that real quick. Don Van Natta Jr. I don't know who Don Van Natta Jr. is. Maybe I'm a terrible person. Belichick fell short of the 40 out of 50 votes needed for induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. Now, I have zero love lost for Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is one of the worst enemies of the New York Jets franchise. One of the worst enemies, by far, one of the worst enemies. He hates the Jets. Absolutely hates the Jets. He fucking quit on us on a napkin. The guy, to me, is a bona fide piece of shit. Should he have been a unanimous Hall of Famer? Without a doubt. He should have been a unanimous pick. He's one of the greatest head coaches in the history of the game. He won 8 Super Bowls. 8? You fucking kidding me? It's not even a question. And this is a problem more with how this is done. Okay? Because I've had a problem with Hall of Fames for a long time. Farrell saying Gruden to Rutgers, even more hot takes. Steve Spagnuolo to Rutgers. He's a Jersey guy. I think Steve Spagnuolo will be great at Rutgers. And I'm going to do not tonight, but pretty soon, I'm going to be breaking down why Greg Schiano does not belong at Rutgers anymore. We're going to be doing a nice look at Schiano and his second stint there and why he's got to be on the hot seat this year. No more blank check. He should 100% be on the hot seat. Farrell saying Bill needs to be in BS. It is BS. And here's a problem. We've seen this a lot with the Baseball Hall of Fame, where it's all the writers. If the writers don't like you, then they keep you out. And that's got to change because they are so much more insignificant. Because number one, back in the day, the writers used to have a little bit of integrity. And it wasn't about them. Yes, you had your very famous writers, but they still had integrity and they were still as objective as they could be. Even if they were beat writers and things like that, the objectivity was necessary. Now, these writers have egos. They have egos. 99.9% of them have a podcast like this one. They have their columns and they feel important. And if you are any sort of mean to them, we're going to hold you out because that's our power. They have zero power in their life. Most of these individuals have no power in what they do. Yet this is their one smidgen of power. And if you didn't get on your knees and blow them, now we're going to hold you out of the Hall of Fame. This has to change. The way it should be is writers shouldn't have any say anymore. Fuck all of them. I don't care if they've been good, if they've been bad, gone. No more writers choosing. You're useless. Writers are fine. They're great. They give us insight. But with social media, with the internet, with every single outlet we have, we need to exclude the writers because it's so easy to get information now. You don't need a bunch of journalists to do it. Number one. Number two, the people that should be voting them in are former players and coaches. And if any current players, maybe you need to have like a certain years of service in until you could vote. Like maybe if you played for a decade, okay. After 10 years, now you become voting eligible, something like that. So even if you're a current player, okay, cool. You played for a decade. You can vote for eligibility. You've been around. Current coaches, maybe the same thing. If you've been in a position, like if you've been a coordinator or above, offensive, defensive, special teams, head coach, that group, you can vote. I think it needs to be there. Because it is absolutely ridiculous that we're giving the media, who is less and less and less and less and less significant every single day, this type of power. Because then you have this bullshit. Because if it was, 50 former players and coaches and some current players and coaches, by no doubt in my mind, he would be unanimous. Because you could dislike the guy all you want, but to doubt the fact that he belongs in there first ballot without a single objection is insane. Coach Farrell saying that's why our motto is integrity over ego, lead by example, not by words. I deleted all of it. Absolutely. Absolutely. You always have to be integrity. And I mean, I think that's Manchester Township's motto, excellence by example, right? So that's just kind of a balance into that. And I want to read a few reactions here. JJ Watt saying, I can't be reading this right. This has to be some knockoff Hall of Fame or something. It can't be the actual NFL Hall of Fame. There is not a single word whatsoever in which Bill Belichick should not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I can't agree with him more. JJ Watt is a pretty reasonable guy. I like most of his takes. This is right on point. And then former Jet Damian Woody saying we really need transparency with these voters because this is madness. And it is. It is. It's absolute madness. And again, this is coming from a guy in Damian Woody who was on the receiving end of some of the worst ass beatings from fucking Bill Belichick. He was on the other end. I mean, oof. Connor Farr saying, when is Coach Ferda on? We will be doing our we'll be setting up our Farrell stream, probably with him and Fancy again. We'll be doing our preseason stream. It'll probably be the summer or normal time, right before camps and stuff come out. We'll set that up. Don't worry. We'll have Farrell on. It's not. We might have to end the show completely, and I will probably have to stop podcasting the day that Farrell denies me a show when I invite him and just says no, can't do your show anymore. You fucking suck. Then I might have to stop podcasting forever. But yeah, when you have Damian Woody, who is on the opposite side of a lot of ass beatings, it's something else. So this is awful. But I can rant about this forever about how much the media people fucking suck. But we shall roll on. So I want to go to this back to a little bit of nerdy shit because I think that this is fucking awesome. So Dexerto, who is an absolute rag and they suck, but they have this. Um, they say first look at the life-size Pokemon that will be at Poke Park Kanto when it officially opens next week. So these are a few things. And this is the preview mentions the forest alone is home to more than 600 Pokemon, with many of them being voiced. So I want to go to this Dexerto article because, like you said earlier, Farrell, I am a giant nerd. I still think Pokemon are dope. Do I play it anymore? No, but my kids watch the shit out of it and they like Pokemon and stuff. So Poke Park Kanto shows off life-size Pokemon and parades ahead of the theme park launch. This is from Dexerto, James Busby. So Japanese media previews Poke Park Kanto have gone live, offering the clearest look yet at Pokemon's first full-scale theme park ahead of its public opening. So I have to say, first and foremost, I am actually shocked that it has taken this long for Pokemon to get a theme park, to be quite honest. You would think that it is one of the biggest franchises of all time. And for them not to have a park already, especially in Japan, is wild. Because when you think of the Japanese, their manga and anime stars are their stars. That's our Tom Cruise. That's our Sydney Sweeney. Our Brad Pitt is Goku, is Luffy, is Pokemon, is Gundam. That is who their major celebrities are. So let's keep reading the article here. Nate saying Pokemon Pocket is a lot of fun. Yeah, listen, Pokemon still creates some addictive fun shit. First announced during a Pokemon Presents after being teased back in 2023, Poke Park Kanto spans roughly 26,000 square meters and is entirely built around the Pokemon world. So again, they say square meters. Nobody knows what square meters means. That's a fake size. The world needs to get hip to some real measurements and start using feet and inches because the metric system is dumb. Anyway, the park is located in Inagi City inside Yomiuri Land. There we go. Giving visitors the option to combine traditional rides with the more relaxed Pokemon-focused experience. On January 26th, Famitsu shared new details from its hands-on preview, revealing how ambitious the project is in both scale and detail. Farrell says, marry one, love one, kill one. Pokemon, Harry Potter, anime. Marry anime because there's plenty of really well-drawn anime characters. Oof. I'm probably going to love Pokemon and kill Harry Potter because the new Harry Potter show is going to be terrible with Black Snape. So I'm thinking that's going to get murdered for me anyway. So that might be it. But I don't know. That's interesting. Farrell, why do you hate me so much? Nachi saying a ton of newer Pokemon. Of the newer Pokemon, I've totally jumped the shark though. I mean, listen, we know with Pokemon, they're good, and then you get like 4 or 5 bad. Good, 4 or 5 bad, whether it's generations, whether it's games. That is a common thing with Pokemon. Let's keep rolling. Poke Park Kanto gets its first look ahead of public opening. According to the article, the Pokemon Forest area features full-scale statues scattered through wooden paths, including life-size Pikachu playing beneath trees, Digwood emerging from the ground, and Bidoof, I was going to say gnawing. Jesus, I can't read. Gnawing away at trunks. The preview mentions that the forest alone is home to more than 600 Pokemon, with many of them being voiced, giving the area an immersive feel as guests explore. And won't it be crazy if at some point, which I think Japan will have this in the future, you could pay extra so you could put on a fucking augmented reality headset and just go catch them. Go catch different Pokemon in that area, basically doing Pokemon Go over there. And basically that would be fucking sick. But I feel like that's something they will do. I don't read Japanese, so I can't see any of this, but let's see if I can click on, took me over to a different thing. I don't want to go to a different thing, but you could see some of the pictures here. Pikachu and Eevee, Umbreon, Espeon. That looks like, what's the evolution? I forget what that one is, but Tyranitar, Garchomp, Gyarados, Raichu. So that's pretty friggin', that's cool. And honestly, I think that here, I might have to click over to this and share this tab because that might be fucking terrifying. Those life-size individuals will be terrifying to stand around. Like, cool, but fucking terrifying. Like, Gyarados is like 10 feet tall. Tyranitar is like 8 feet tall. Garchomp's 8 feet tall. Like, that's gonna be pretty cool. Not gonna lie. All right, but let's get back to this. Sedgetown serves as the park's urban hub with statues inspired by iconic moments from the anime, including Squirtle Squad style designs. I fucking love that. Smeargle doing his best Banksy impression, and scaled scenes of Pokemon battling one another. I mean, again, if you're a Pokemon fan, then this is right up your alley if you're a Pokemon fan. Just seeing all this, great stuff and things coming to life. Nietzsche saying, good choice. Wizards don't ride broom. Farrell saying, I love you, babe. Love you too, Farrell. The preview mentioned that the area will also host scheduled parades where oversized Pikachu and Eevee mascots appear for performances. Should Pokemon trainers find themselves getting hungry on their adventure through the park, there will be food stalls selling Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur ice cream floats, a Snorlax popcorn bucket, waffles, and sushi. I mean, again, this is awesome. And the fact that like Eevee has been like a major mascot now for a while with Pikachu. I mean, it'll be awesome. I mean, I might have to make a pilgrimage here. Oh, this is a preview of it. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to get hit by anything here. Besides Pokemon statues, there is also a Pokemon Center complete with a real-life Nurse Joy. Visitors can hand over a tray of 6 Pokeballs to have their Pokemon healed, letting fans live out one of the series' most recognizable mechanics. Now, I'm going to take the chance on this because this was fucking sweet. So, guys. Now, obviously, they hand the Pokeball, you have Joy, and one thing I liked, on top, you could see what Pokemon are in the balls, which is awesome. Pikachu, Gengar, Sirfetch'd, Raikou, Dragonite. I don't know is that the evolved Trapinch? I don't know what the fuck that one is. But you get the classic noise. Your Pokemon are fully healed. We hope to see you again. Which always, we hope to see you again. I always, with that comment, so we're going to get out of this. I always found that when Joy goes, we hope to see you again. It's like, bitch, I don't want to be back here. That means my Pokemon got their asses kicked again. I don't want to do that. Nietzsche's saying, have you seen the Pokemon Nat Geos? Yes, I have. I'm addicted. I watched one reel, and now reels just show me all of them, and I am fucking here for it. You want to talk about a great use of AI? There you go. That's a great use of AI. Coach O'Donnell saying, I'm sorry, I thought this was a Jets chat. OD, I go everywhere. I go from Jets. I was angry about Belichick not getting in. I'm talking about Pokemon now. I started off talking about the Virtual Boy. We're going to get into politics next, OD. A little bit of everything here. But yeah, Nate, I've seen them. The Nat Geo Pokemon things are fucking sweet. Um, let's finish up here. While rides don't seem to be the main focus of Poke Park Kanto, the preview did showcase a very cute flying Pikachu merry-go-round. With previews now live and opening day scheduled for February 5th, 2026, Poke Park Kanto is shaping up to be one of Pokemon's most ambitious real-world projects to date. So it's going to be interesting. Connor Farr saying, you play Siege or Rocket League? I don't play either. I am the fakest gamer of all time. I'm not even really a gamer. I like games from afar at this point. But we're going to go into some politics here because this, to me, I found. So this is from MS Now, which, again, no one takes MS Now seriously. And I don't want to actually watch it because I don't give a shit. But they brought in a psychologist. Maybe we'll watch a little bit of it. I didn't actually watch it, but we'll see what they say. How to support kids who are anxious about ice. And I can already give the answer. It's a simple one. Stop fucking talking to your kids about ice. If they're children, stop talking about them. But let's see what this is from the Morning Joe show with, which I don't know how they're still on TV. Fucking Mika Brzezinski. Connor saying they are both top tier games. I've heard. I want to play real life Rocket League. I just want to drive around with the fucking truck and the ball and just ram into each other. That'd be awesome. All right, so let's see what these dumbasses have to say. If there was sound, good job being a host, Alex.
The violence playing out on American streets is jarring for everyone. It's all over our phones, our iPads, TVs, and kids.
You know, the first question is the violence playing out on American streets. A lot of it is caused by the fact that people are being told not just to protest, but to get in the way. So, yeah, the violence usually caused by the leftists.
They're seeing it, whether they're there and it's happening in the street in front of them, whether it's an ICE raid or an actual shooting, it's traumatic. It's frightening. Whether watching the video on their cell phones over and over again, or just hearing about it in conversation at school or in the...
Well, here's the problem. How old are we talking, right? How old are we talking? If you're giving your middle school kid, late elementary school kids cell phone access, and they're watching the videos on their cell phones with full internet access, then you're an idiot as a parent. Like, do not give your children full internet access at minimum, maybe high school. 16 should really be where you start to allow them to have full internet access with their phones and everything like that. And if they're talking to it about school, it's like, yeah, if your teachers are bringing it up in an objective way, sure, to make it a lesson on illegal immigration and what government should and shouldn't be doing to protect their citizens, fuck yeah. But if they're just being like, oh, did you see the terrible ICE raid today? Get the fuck out of here. Connor coming back saying, bring back bullying. Yes, there is a spot for bullying in the world, 100%.
The lunchroom. Children are getting a crash course in the cruelty and also the fear that's gripping the country right now. So
it's funny, they're so quick to talk about the cruelty and the fear of ICE and the crash course and stuff like that, but they're not willing to talk about how these kids are getting so screwed up by the fact that they're being told they could be boys or girls or whatever they want to be. Like, ICE is scaring them. A bunch of legal American citizens are scared of ICE when nothing's going to fucking happen to them. But we're not afraid to tell a boy that he could be a girl or a girl that he could be a boy. They pick and choose when they want to care about kids.
What is the right way to talk about it with them, particularly for those with immigrant families or who know immigrant families? Dr. PJ.
Oh, I'm sorry, stopping every 2 seconds. They say this shit with immigrant families or no immigrant families. They're missing a key word there. Illegal immigrant families. I'm a second generation in America. Both of my grandparents came here legally. They're immigrants. My parents are children of immigrants. And they don't agree. You know, people that come here legally hate the illegals the most because they did it the right way. So they always leave it to immigrant families. Immigrant families don't give a fuck about this. Illegal immigrant families care because they know they did it the wrong way.
Stryker is a psychiatrist at Children's Minnesota and she joins us now. Dr. Stryker, first of all, thank
Badass
you
name, by the way, Dr.
for
Stryker.
coming on the show. Can you tell me what you're hearing from your patients and parents in Minnesota?
Thank you.
Now, mind you, Minnesota is a hub for all this bullshit. That's where Renee Good was killed during her action in impeding a federal operation in a protest. Alex Preddy was just shot and killed the other day in a much less cut and dry case where Renee Good, she was impeding and she attempted to hit an officer with her vehicle. That's the bare bones facts. And it was unfortunate she lost her life, but that one's cut and dry. Alex Preddy, much less cut and dry. We're finding out a lot more about him and the fact that he was basically a part of a group that had shifts and stuff like that. But at the same time, just given with what occurred, you cannot. It's a tragic shot. You're not going to call it a good shot. What happened? And I mean, the Alex Preddy one is a lot less cut and dry. Let's keep rolling here.
Thank you so much for having me. I think we're seeing a lot of patients and families that are just scared and they want to make sure their kids can get health care, get mental health care. And so, our goal at Children's Minnesota is just to make sure that every kid gets the care that they need.
So here's the thing. What does ICE have to do with kids getting care and health care? What does immigration reform have to do with them getting care and healthcare? Like, this is the thing. They conflate this stuff, right? And these families, they're worried about getting care and they're worried about getting healthcare. Why? What does federal law enforcement getting illegal immigrants out of the country have to do with you getting healthcare if you are an American citizen? And at that point, even if you aren't an American citizen and you're just not breaking the law, because the main thing is they want to get out the violent criminals. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Minnesota and what's going on there in a minute.
Stryker, when children are being raised and told who are the figures of authority, like police.
And this is one of the worst individuals of all time. Reverend Al Sharpton sucks. He is one of the most racist people on the fucking planet. And he's been using black people for years and trying to keep them angry, trying to keep them militant in order to continue to have a platform. Sharpton is one of the worst people to have a platform of all time.
So teachers. And then as we're looking at what's going on now in Minnesota, when we see people that we've taught children are the ones of authority, that they're different than others, and then they see them violent. How does that affect how children deal with normalizing violence or seeing violence as something that's allowable no matter what position you may assume in your life?
Now, the issue with this is when, and I don't care how this woman's about to answer, she's probably going to say something dumb, but the way Sharpton is framing it here is you tell them that they're the police and they're allowed to do things and they're nice, but then you see them being violent. You're honest with kids. If kids have questions, you be as honest as you can. And you let them know the police were there to do their job. There were people that disagreed with them, but they overstepped and they interfered with the police doing their job. And in an unfortunate situation, things got violent. You don't have to go into full detail. You don't have to tell them exactly what it is. You just say that the federal police were there to do their job. People got interfered and violently interfered, and a tragedy occurred. It's very simple. And obviously with different levels, different age group of the kids, you talk to them in different ways. But if you're talking about young kids, you keep it blunt, you be honest with them. You absolutely be honest. But let's see what this woman has to say.
I think it's been very hard for kids to figure out who are the safe adults in their life, right? And most of the time we want to reassure them as the parent, right? Like mom and dad or mom and mom, whoever the parent is, we are the safe person in your life. And then we need to talk through with them who else around us in our community is the safe person, whether it's a neighbor,
Well, here's the thing. In the community, you shouldn't. Farrell saying, popping off, bro. Love you. School and finals tomorrow. Keep in touch. Of course, coach. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you as always. But I mean, when you're talking about, obviously the parents and the immediate family are always first and foremost the trusted people, right? But then outside of that, you go to your other immediate family, your grandparents, your aunts and uncles for the most part. And outside of that, it's on a need to trust basis, right? Like you want to teach them to respect authority, respect the cops. If they tell you to do something, you fucking do it. That's kind of what it is. You listen in that moment, right? But outside of that, like, okay, yeah, if you're at school, you listen to your teachers. But if your teachers are, telling you to do something wrong, you don't got to listen. It's a no. Teachers are not direct authorities, right? You want them to respect and listen to coaches. But if coaches are telling you to do something that you feel internally is wrong, it's a no. And you got to teach your kids to be strong in that way. So let's see what this woman's guidance is as a professional.
Whether it's other family members, whether it's the school staff, whether it's the doctors and nurses that are working with them, who are the safe people for them to go to? Because right now it feels very unclear who is safe for them.
So let's read this. Suggestions to support kids amid ICE crackdown from Children's Minnesota. Validate their feelings. So what does that mean? Validate their feelings. If I say I'm feeling scared, it's okay to feel scared, little Timmy. Why do you feel scared? That's all right. I'm sad. Yeah, that's okay to be sad. You don't always validate. That's the thing. You don't always have to, because sometimes you can talk them through it, but you don't always want, you can say it's okay to have feelings. You don't want to like demonize them, but I mean, you don't always have to say, yes, you're right, because they're not always right. Balance media exposure. Again, it depends on how old. If they're younger, why are they watching a whole bunch of media, right? If they're older, middle school age, things like that, you could start to expose them to it. But still, even at that age, why are they watching news? High school? It all depends. It depends on how mature your child is. If you have a child that is sitting there and consistently watching news and they're in high school and it becomes something that overwhelms their life, it is your job as the parent to take away the source of that. And if it's their phone, if it's TikTok, if it's them watching reels, going down YouTube rabbit holes, I'm sorry, you're fucking off of it. Help kids feel safe. How? Safety is relative, right? Everyone has different degrees and levels of safety or what is safe. And safety isn't always the right thing. If your whole goal is feeling safe, then you're going to be willing to give up and to sacrifice a lot in order to continue feeling safe. So again, they don't talk about how old these kids are. It's very different from when you're dealing with a primary school kid as opposed to a secondary school kid. Elementary, middle, and high school all have different levels of what they need. Channeling energy. Now, I know this one isn't necessarily a bad one. You want to have, and I feel like less of energy because they use these gay terms, channel your energy. No, shifting their focus, right? It's the same thing, but one sounds gay, one doesn't. Shifting their focus. You shouldn't be focused as a high schooler, middle schooler, primary school kid on ICE raids. You shouldn't be focused on that. You're not an activist. That's not your job. You're not political. You can't vote. Should you know things? Sure. But you shouldn't sit there and obsess over that. Go enjoy a club. Go have friends. Go do your sport. Those are the things that matter when you're young, not the world shit. You can't solve it. You're not involved. And be there for them and for you. I mean, you always want to be there for your kids. So again, a lot of this stuff is borderline retarded.
And so the more we can remind them of who is safe and we are here to keep you safe, that is kind of the best we can do right now, and to just validate that it's okay to be scared.
But again, what are they scared of, right? Validate it's okay to be scared. Why? It all depends. If your parent is someone who's is illegally in this country, okay, maybe you could feel some trepidation, right? That's normal. That's normal. You're hearing that these immigration officers, Border Patrol is coming and taking away illegals. Yeah, my parents aren't here legally. They did something wrong by coming here illegally. I get it. if your parent is doing so, or a relative is doing something illegal outside of that, if they are known to be doing illegal things, if they're a gang member and shit like that, fuck yeah, you should be scared of them. Not necessarily the law taking them. You should be grateful when the law takes them away. Keep rolling.
I would also think maybe ask some questions about what they already know, because how a child, depending on their age, might be perceiving something maybe different. Just that sort of a conversation, taking it slow, validating, but also listening. Could you put it into words if you're a parent whose kid is scared and saying, what's happening? I'm scared. You're going to be taken away from me.
Here's the thing, too. You know what you tell kids? Don't worry about it. It's adult stuff. It works. Don't worry about it. This is stuff for adults, not for kids. You don't sit there, and especially depending on the age, right? Again, 16 to me is typically the cutoff. 16, you're starting to become more an adult. You still really don't know shit, but you're more of an adult. I can start treating you much more like an adult. Maybe even 14. We can have more of a conversation about it. But any younger than that has nothing to do with you. I'm scared. Don't be. This is adult stuff. Whatever you're hearing, disregard it. My kids came home a few times. My older one especially, during the election and asking about Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. And I was like, where are you getting this from? And they never said it was their teachers, but it was other kids. Now, my oldest daughter is 7 in 2nd grade. And the other kids were going, oh, well, they said that their parents said Donald Trump's a bad man and he's mean and we shouldn't like him. And you know what I said? Even though I support Trump, I planned on voting for him, everything like that. You know what I told my daughter? And I'm someone who loves politics. Don't worry about that. That has nothing to do with you. This is adult stuff. That does not have anything to do with you right now. Don't worry about it. Tell your friends you don't have an opinion on it. Your daddy doesn't have an opinion on it. Period. Because I don't think kids should have a place in this.
What do you say? What do you ask?
Absolutely. It's a wonderful point. The first thing we really should do is, what do you know about what's going on? What are you seeing or hearing? And what kind of questions do you have for me? And let the child really start the conversation, right? What are they experiencing? What have they heard? What have they seen? And what kind of questions do they have? How are they interpreting what's happening?
Now, I wonder what she would say if their thing was, well, I saw a woman tried to run over an ICE officer and they shot him and they shot her. I wonder if this woman would be like, no, that's not what happened. I understand what you have to say and I get it, but that's not what happened. Let me correct the record for you. I guarantee she'd be that way.
And then our role is to listen, be there, be present, right? We all need to put our phones down and talk to our kids and kind of see what they are feeling and experiencing. And then for us to validate.
So tips for talking to kids about ICE. Assess what they already know. If they're under the age of 14, tell them to fucking cancel it out. And even then, you don't know shit. Go away. And here's the thing. Be the adult. Sometimes it's okay to tell your kids, go the fuck away. This has nothing to do with you. Tailor the conversation to the child's current understanding. Again, if it's a conversation worth having, be the adult. I'm scared you might get taken away. I'm not getting taken away. Well, I heard this from my friends. Don't listen. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with them. They shouldn't be talking about it. But what if this happens? It's not going to. This is adult stuff. Leave it be. You're too young to care. Go worry about X, Y, and Z. Okay. Allow kids to lead the conversation. These are also the same people that says that there should be student-led classrooms, that students should lead class. Get the fuck out of here. Students do not lead class. They do not lead class, and they shouldn't always lead the conversation. You assess what they know, but then you're the parent. You're there to teach them. Keep it simple and concrete. That I agree with. Keep it simple. Be honest. This is a difficult one because a lot of the times the people are willing to have these conversations are fucking liars about what's going on. They don't see reality the right way anyway because they don't live in the same reality. Focus on feelings. No, focus on the facts. If you're going to have the conversation, tell them what happened. Don't focus on their feelings. Feelings are temporary and they sway. Model calmness. Yeah, you should be calm. Offer consistent reassurance. I mean, sure. Again, depending on their age, it's all relative. Let's keep going here.
It is okay to be scared. I might be scared too. And to really hear what they're feeling and then provide that sense of reassurance, right? We are not going to dismiss what they're feeling. We're
Yes,
not
we
going
should
to
sometimes.
invalidate them. We're going to say, this are the things we're going to do together to keep you safe and to feel as good as we can.
And here's the thing. I don't want to come off as this like big hard ass. Like, I work with my kids. I talk with my kids and I level with my kids. And the same thing is that, like, we're going to work together. We're a team. You're my buddy. Like, that is all things that I say to my kids. I love my daughters. They're awesome. But at the same time, there also comes a time where you do have to put the foot down as the adult and as the parent and just say, this has nothing to do with you. Period. Like, I'm not talking to you about this. This isn't a conversation I'm having with my child. And you should not have this in school either. If you do, don't, either disengage or like, that's it. Bottom line. Whenever it comes to anything politics, my 7 and 5-year-olds shouldn't have a single fucking thing about it. They have nothing to do about it. They have nothing to know.
All right, psychiatrist at Children's Minnesota, Dr. PJ Stryker, thank you very much for this important conversation, as children are a huge part of this, watching what is happening.
And here's the thing, they're not. They want children to be a huge part of this so bad. Leftists want children to be a huge part of this so bad because it gives them more ammo. And it's just embarrassing. So I want to have a quick chit chat with everyone right now because there is a growing problem to me amongst the community that has these conversations about political things, especially on the right. It has been reported that Greg Bavino has been basically demoted. He's not running the operation for Minnesota ICE anymore. And that Tom Homan was sent in and met today with Mayor Fry and Governor Walz to talk about Minnesota. And Homan said it was a productive meeting. We didn't agree on everything, but it was productive. I want to continue to talk. And that Trump has said that in time we'll be pulling out of Minnesota. And to me, and I'm seeing so many people like, this is a loss. This is weakness. This is that. And it just makes me wonder, what did they actually vote for? Now, I'm not saying you have to lockstep. Everything Trump does is great. Everything Trump says is great. But we voted for immigration reform. We voted for getting illegals out. And I know people aren't happy about the number, but he's done some astronomical things. And he's doing mostly the things that we want to see. He closed the border. We have negative net migration. He has dispersed ICE and Border Patrol around the country. They're doing operations basically everywhere. We're apparently getting an ICE facility over here in the Hudson Valley. Minnesota's a hotbed. Right now, it is a hotbed. Nick Shirley popped it off with the Somalian fraud. And then right after that, there was a flood of ICE agents. And since then, what has happened in a month? We've had 2 civilians killed. And granted, you can argue about, Renee Good. You can argue about Alex Preddy, the situations, whether they're good shootings, bad shootings, this and that. The reality is 2 citizens were killed. Activists, 100%. Definitely a part of networks. Yes. You had their major politicians leading that state stoking the flames. You've had ICE and Border Patrol officers injured. One of them had his fingers fucking bitten off. And the thing when it comes to battle, which make no mistake, we are in a battle right now. Minnesota is a battleground because some Democratic officials talk tough about not participating, then capitulated, which, DC and a few of these other places, they eventually capitulated and they're working well. Minnesota actually is not capitulating. And when you are in a battle, sometimes as the commander-in-chief, you need to strategically look at it and realize strategically we need to pull back. We're not leaving. We're not done, but we need to pull back. Because what do we have going on in Minnesota? Now, we have a lot of major operations. We have a lot of things going on. Right. We have a lot of agents, a few thousand of them in there, doing a ton of operations, getting out a lot of bad people, arresting a lot of bad people, hopefully for deportation, right? And we cheer for all that because criminal illegal aliens should not be in this country. They should be out, period. No question. But we're seeing a hotbed of tension. And what us on the right apparently want is keep going full bore, add more, make it worse. And so what if there are a few more civilian killings? Now, again, granted, I am not putting this all on CPB and ICE. Don't get it twisted. And don't think that I don't want to stay in there doing this as much as possible. But we've seen it and we know it. Whether we want to admit it or not, these agents are on edge. They are on edge because every single day they know, and they're doing this because they believe in the cause. They believe in what they're doing, and they are willing to go put themselves in harm's way to do the job. But knowing that every single time you go out to do your job, you're not only going to be faced with protests, but violent protests. Protests that are going to have to cause you to potentially make a very heavy decision. Everything you do is being scrutinized. You are being stalked every single day. They are running your license plates. They're trying to firebomb the hotels you stay in. You are being protested. You are being attacked. And you need to show as much restraint as you can. But sometimes you don't. And you make a call and a judgment call. And I think what Trump is seeing, what the reports that he's getting back, because Trump is definitely getting reports back all the time about what's going on. I think what he's seeing is that there's a lot of attention and there is a lot of potential for more catastrophic occurrences to go on there. And I know everyone's calling Insurrection Act. I get it. But when you already have a governor and a mayor willing to go to war level rhetoric with the federal government, do you truly think that if he goes Insurrection Act, that Waltz and Frey won't go full bore civil war against it? And I know we talk about civil war, we talk about national divorce, all this type of stuff. Nobody knows what the fuck that actually means. And maybe I'm biased because I'm in a blue state right now. And if we do national divorce, New York's out. There's going to be the red and there's going to be the blue. But how do you choose? It's not like the red and blue are uniform. And in most states, it's mostly red. The blue is the city spots. So we're just going to abandon a whole bunch of groups. And when it comes to civil war, if people are already getting squeamish at what we've just seen, the limited violence, again, violence, killing, it sucks, but that limited violence, no one's ready for civil war. Because civil war is ugly. We're already in a soft civil strife, potential civil war type of scenario. Trump is seeing that we are at a boiling point. And he does not want public perception to fully turn the other way. Because I don't give a shit what people think. We're habitually focusing on politics. We are habitually on X. We see what goes on more than the common person. You know what the common person knows about Minnesota right now? The ICE is surging. 2 civilians have been killed. Not even protesters. One a fucking VA nurse that they are lambasting all over TV. And the other is just a mom that lost that the 6-year-old doesn't have a mom anymore. That's what people know. And Trump is seeing this. And the thing is, yes, midterms play a factor. Midterms play a factor. Visuals play a factor. And I don't think the operations are done. I do not think that they are going to just pull out completely in Minneapolis. But what I do think is he going to keep 2,000 Border Patrol and ICE there? Probably not. Probably not. After we just heard there's big operations in Arizona going on. Maine had an operation. Hudson Valley's getting some stuff. Florida, Tech, all these places. Memphis, DC, it's all still going on. But the thing is, when you really look at it, and if I'm looking at it from a commander-in-chief perspective, I'm looking at these as battlefields, which is what they essentially are, and Minnesota is the major battle. Are we winning that battle? And not only on the ground, because don't get me wrong, CPB and ICE have many assets that they can, and if they want to go catch their person, they will. And they will do it. And getting through the protesters is difficult, but if they wanted to, they can make it very easy, right? But is what you're putting your agents through worth it right now? Again, they are being followed, they are being stalked, they are being harassed, they are being attacked. They can't do their jobs properly right now. Their jobs are 20 times harder because of all of this attention. And I can imagine that even with all those numbers, the production is not where they want it to be in terms of getting illegal criminals out. That's probably why Bovino has been moved. Is because when they're looking at it statistically, we have 2,000 agents here. We've only gotten out X number. We expected Y number. Why aren't we there? Oh, well, because there's a bunch of different groups that are watchdogging us. They are paramilitary. A lot of them are now armed. Do we want to continue to put our agents in situations with armed protesters who are willing to be martyrs? And when you step back, because it's real easy to talk on the internet. It's real easy to sit there and go, oh, I've lost my faith in Trump. This isn't what I voted for. It's a weakness. That is super easy, right? Very easy. Because you're not in Minneapolis. You're not going out there and putting on a vest that clearly states that you're ICE, that clearly states that you're Border Patrol. You're not doing any of that. You're not going in there and dealing with violent criminals, gang members, rapists, and pedophiles, while on top of that, a bunch of fucking leftist psychos trying to protect them and stop you. You're not dealing with that. And you're also not the person in charge that has to continue to tell them to go do it. So it's real easy, very easy to just sit there on your computer, on your podcast, and just talk about, this isn't what I voted for. He's looking weak. This is weakness. Because the thing is, all of these people that are like, I'm done with Trump, this is weakness, are going to vote for him, are going to vote for the Republican in the midterms. He doesn't think of a fuck about you. You're going to vote for J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, whoever runs in 2028. What he's looking for, and the reason why he generally won, was the wine mom. And if the wine mom, who generally sits at home and maybe she's conservative, but as she's scrolling through, still very susceptible to reading bullshit, and all she's seeing is, oh, Renee Good's a mom. I'm a mom. Oh, there's a 6-year-old without another mother. I mean, I'm on the side. I want the illegals out, but I don't want moms getting killed. And then as they scroll through again, oh God, they now killed a VA nurse, ICU nurse. And that one wasn't a good shot. Maybe I could see the Renee Good one, but that one, they took the gun off. And blah, blah. You need to look at it from that perspective. The politicos are going to do our part. We're going to vote for the people that, we should vote for. We're not going to vote leftist. But there are factors to this, okay? And sometimes to win, you can't always be on offense. You have to play defense at times. And you need to be strategic, It's tactical and surgical. Right now, you cannot be strategic, tactical, and surgical in Minneapolis. It's damn near impossible. The agents are being thwarted at every step. Their marks are being tipped off, and it is just not a very fruitful situation there. If we can cut our number in half in Minneapolis, say there's 2,000 and we can keep 1,000 there, and we say, hey, we're going to move 2,000 out of Minneapolis. And with that, if you can get Fry and Waltz to publicly go, we've talked to the president and we agree with this operation that we should be getting the bad people out of here. We just didn't like the militarized president. He has agreed to bring his numbers back. And with that, we are asking the protesters to lay down. And if you continue to do blah, 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 and you are caught interfering with the federal operation, we will now help you. And we're instructing our local law enforcement to provide aid when extremely, blah, 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 something, right? If you get concessions on both sides, then that means the operations can run much smoother there. The thing is, people just want, again, I've said they want their scalps, they want their pound of flesh, they want all this high profile bullshit when they don't realize how life really works. They really don't. And a lot of these people, again, it's very easy to type on your keyboard or to just talk about it out loud on your podcast, and you'll be all tough and Trump had betrayed me, blah, blah, blah. But it's really hard to make that decision. It's really hard when you are sitting there and hearing, we had this person, but Ice Watch thwarted us there. They alerted them and they left. We got this individual, but we had ice bottles thrown at us and we have an injury here. And that agent needs to be taken out for a little because they need to be tended to. We had an agent with his fingers fucking bitten off. We've had 2 civilians murdered while potentially justified murder. They were killed. I'm not going to say murder because it wasn't murdered, wrong term. But we had, Renee Good was killed. She was, it would seem like a good shot. Alex Preddy's a questionable one that we have to investigate. How many more do we want to have to investigate? Good shots or not? Why do we want to keep going through this? No. If we can get Fry and Waltz to at least shut the fuck up. They don't have to be on our side. Just shut the fuck up. And tell your protesters that you're going to start going to jail too. We're going to have local police help. And we're not going to encourage it anymore as long as you cut us a deal with leaving less here. Then that works. Because 1,000 that can do their job without major interference will be more efficient than 2,000 with a fuck ton of roadblocks. And this is where people drive me crazy. Because not only are they short-sighted, all they want is clicks, okay? That's all they want. They don't want to look at it from an actual perspective. Because then they can't yell and scream about dumb shit anymore. They can't sit there and try to make you think that they want what's up. No, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And now too, you take some of these agents out that are being thwarted, disperse them to other places, put them on new missions where they're not going to be as thwarted. Because again, more are being taken out of Florida, Arizona, Texas, Memphis. These operations are going on around the country. So that's my whole piece there, is that in the end, if Trump was doing nothing, if he had Border Patrol and ICE in one city only, and they were just kind of dicking around, doing nothing, and we weren't really arresting and deporting people, okay, be mad. But he has operations going on everywhere, okay? While handling foreign affairs, while trying to get the economy back right. Sometimes when you vote for somebody, they're not going to do everything the exact way you want. But that doesn't mean you just turn on them for the easiest thing. Sometimes you have to trust the individual you voted for, that they maybe have a plan. And even if you can't see it at that moment, that you need to give them a little bit of grace. It's been a little over a year. What we don't need is influential people already turning around, turning their backtrack, stepping away from him, because then your retard followers listen to you. What we need is to have a little bit of a backbone. And that's what Republicans don't have. That's what conservatives don't have. The little drop of something that doesn't go their way. Oh, I'm done. I'm done. Trump has lost me. And then in a week, Trump does something, and those same people are going to go, oh, well, I guess Trump is doing well again. You voted for the man. Don't lockstep. You can be critical, but don't be a retard. And just go, oh, this little thing has made me... Stop it. Just stop. He is significantly doing more good than bad right now. You could be mad about Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and some of these people, but I hear people are like, his first term, he put around terrible people, and it seems like he's doing it again. Okay, so let's complain about Scott Bessent. Let's complain about Stephen Miller. Let's complain about Pete Hegseth. Let's complain about Tom Homan. Let's complain about Rubio. Let's complain about Vance. Like, stop. Not everyone that he puts around in a major operation in an executive area is going to be someone you love. It seems like Susan Wiles is pulling a lot of strings. Yes. But is that stopping him from making foreign policy deals? Has that stopped the ICE operations around the country? Has that stopped the slashing regulations? Like, you can dislike some people that are around that orbit. But to sit there and just accuse the guy and say, well, the first time he had shitheads and it looks like he's doing it again, like, you're retarded. Yes, the first go around, he had a lot of terrible people around them. This time, you can't say that they're that bad. There is majority good in that cabinet and secretary-wise than there is bad. Lee Zeldin, Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem has missteps. Lee Zeldin's been fucking fantastic. I mean, it drives me crazy with these people and how fair weather they are. Have a little perspective and have a little analysis and think a little before you just fucking yell. That's all I want. All right. That was my rant about that. I do want to talk about this right here, because I think this can have major implications. And I'm curious if Trump didn't respond yet, I didn't see, but I'm curious what Trump's response to this will be. So Unusual Whales has breaking. India and the European Union have agreed on a huge trade deal, creating a free trade zone of 2 billion people. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi have said. Now, this is interesting because Trump and Modi have not, they're friends, but Trump with the tariffs have kind of pushed Modi, and it seems like possibly they pushed Modi towards this way. Now, we've seen the complaints about a lot of Indians, in Canada, a ton of them taken over. There's a lot of Indian pockets in America, and one of the things is similar to a lot that we've seen, the assimilation's a part of the issue. They don't fully assimilate to the Western areas. Now, I'm wondering if in the EU, if we're going to have a lot of Indians come over and they're not going to assimilate. Now, I have no problem with Indians. I'm friends with a lot of people that are from India and stuff like that. And some of them are some of my favorite people on the fucking planet. But at the same time, it all depends on how this is going to work. Like, great. We're going to open up some more ties and we're going to have friendly immigration of Indian workers. And hopefully India is going to accept some European workers, because India has some fucking dope places for people to go work at. They're innovating. There's a lot of them. But what it can't become, and what I'm in fear that it will become, is a one-way street. And if that's the case, then Europe in so many ways has been gone from an immigration standpoint. And if this is Europe's way, because they are all well below the birth replacement rate over in Europe, if this is their way of trying to get more workers to come in because their birth replacement rate is so terrible, then this isn't going to be the answer. because you're going to have countries that don't resemble themselves. The Indians will come in and be Indian. They're not going to come into Germany and become German. They're not going to come into Italy and become Italian. They're going to be Indian in Italy. And that's a problem, because you do not want to let people take over your country. If they come in, assimilation should be demanded. It's been a problem in this country, in America. We don't demand assimilation anymore. We don't want individuals to believe in America and become American. We just allow people to just fully come in, and we've always allowed people to keep their culture, but assimilate as well. We're allowing people to keep their culture and not give a fuck about the country. And that's what's been going on in Europe with a lot of the Muslims that are going over there. So and we'll see those clashes, because Muslims and Indians don't fucking like each other. So that'll be interesting too, to see when the Muslims and Indians start clashing in these countries, because that's not going to be great either. So this is a big deal. I'm going to see how it works. I don't know if it's going to work well, but very interesting. Random Raccoon, what's going on? Hello, Sir Alex. Sorry I've been gone for a while. Been very busy with my modeling work. That's okay, Raccoon. I hope the modeling work is going well, man. I hope that it's going well, and that it's coming out the way you want it to, and that eventually when you get it all finished, it looks great and it can sell for a pretty penny. I'm excited. You never have to apologize if you're going to work. I want to show this. This is from a former guest, Jennifer saying, this is amazing. It's official. She's a moron. Now, I have no love for Candace Owens. I think Candace Owens has been a grifter for a long time. Gamergate 1, she was doxing people. She's a known person that was a leftist activist before she became on the right. Random Raccoon saying it goes well. I just decided to do late at night after a long day of work. Makes sense. Well, after a long day at work. And it just so happens to be when you stream. So yeah, it makes sense. Hey, listen, you do what you got to do, Raccoon. So this is a compilation. Nathan Livingston, Milk Bar TV, put a compilations of Candace Owens knowing the best words. Raccoon, catch you up. We started off, we talked a little bit nerdy stuff with the Nintendo coming out with the Virtual Boy accessory for Switch 1 and Switch 2. We talked some sports with my Jets being stupid, Bill Belichick not being a first ballot Hall of Famer. Then we went back to nerdy stuff with a Pokemon amusement park in Japan opening up. Then we talked about some stuff in Minnesota with the psychiatrist. I ranted about how people need to be better that voted for Trump about giving him a little more leeway and not being assholes and running away. And now you're here and we're about to make fun of Candace Owens. So this is Nathan Livingston compilation proving Candace Owens knows all the best words. Now, granted, this compilation's funny. I give Candace a little bit of grace. I know that I read some comments. Some people don't. When you speak all the time, you fumble your words. You mispronounce things. I suck at pronunciations. I fumble words all the fucking time. But there are some times here where, it's pretty bad. Random Raccoon saying Nintendo has been the kings of recycling garbage they made and then spitting in the face of their community and then still having innocent moms buy their shit. Oh, people are going to buy up the Virtual Boy for nostalgia. 100%. And listen, all the Nintendo boys are the problem. And I mean, I'm still debating going out and getting a Switch too, so I'm not much better. But all right, let's watch Candace.
Instagram, you see she has millions of followers, and you think, okay, this is an illiterate person.
Kind of read books. I'm just fascinated with learning real history because I think that truth is kind of, what actually has happened, the events of our world, is obviously, as the expression goes, way stranger in fiction. To do it again.
So it's way strange. Again, I'm not going to make fun of her fully for tripping over her words there, but you'll see it gets worse.
Posthumously. Charlie Kirk, the founder of TPUSA, will be posthumously honored a posthumous award. They've decided posthumously, cordially accepted those posthumous terms.
Now, here's the thing. You got to have someone that tells you it's posthumously. Like, my issue is she has money. There's people, why is nobody correcting her and telling her it's posthumously? And I'm probably saying it wrong. But, okay, let's see.
CIF, which stands for a sensitive, compartmented. If you can't compartmentalize, and a CEO and a chairman has to compartmentalize.
The IDF.
Now, this might also be an accent. I don't know. Compartmentalize. I'm saying it wrong now. Compartmentalize. Like, I mean, there's certain words you got to learn how to say. But man, some of this is tough.
Even dropped napalm 12.5 miles off the coast of the Sinai Peninsula. Is that correct when you arrive into the Sinai Peninsula?
Sinai.
The fact that he corrected her and she couldn't say napalm. She can't say Sinai. And again, if you're someone that reads, if you're someone that knows anything about politics, like, or if you've ever read the fucking Bible, Mount Sinai, come on. Napalm, like these are common things.
Illiterate person.
In Portland, Oregon, the Hamptons debacle came up.
Now, Portland, Oregon, I've heard people say Oregon, like there's a wise debacle.
Hamptons. Okay, remember that whole debacle? We knew a kerfluffle happened as this dress kerfluffle causes this whole race kerfluffle.
And again, why is nobody correcting her? Kerfuffle, not kerfluffle, kerfuffle. But like, why is nobody correcting her? Do people hate her that much, even in her own circle? Like, you should be correcting her. Like, part of me, if she watches this, she needs to be like, who the fuck is not telling me the right way to say things?
Ways that you can honor Charlie. Stop telling us that it has to always be Miss Macabre, like retired Green Beret, allegedly a heart.
Macabre, Green Beret. Like, again, like, I get it. You're picking, she's done hours and hours and hours, hundreds of hours. But, oh my God. Random Raccoon, I suck at spelling, but like, damn. Random Raccoon, I usually wouldn't make fun of pronunciation, but like, the thing is, she is talking about being illiterate. Yes, she's talking about being illiterate, but she's also someone that talks for a living. So you should be able to pronunciate most things.
Heart attack, normal passion, not this like chat GBT. At last I check, everybody uses the terminology blitzkrieg. Everybody uses the term blitzkrieg. And so I called it Blitzkrieg Week. You can't even say blitz means lightning. Krieg means war. And the NFL football team say blitzkrieg. Like,
this drives me crazy. Blitzkrieg. This is learning in high school type of shit, though. That one I can't excuse. Blitzkrieg. Like, how? And then she goes to break the word down. Blitz and Krieg. Like, it's Blitzkrieg. Like, that one was hard. That one was hard to watch because that's like, you learn Blitzkrieg in high school when you're talking about the Second World War.
God, like, no, he just liked the architecture. Smells and the Bells, he loved the architecture. It was about the architecture. Like, yeah, no, like, he loved the architecture. I think this may have been about more than the architecture. Jewish.
And again, the architecture. Like, it's adding the extra and I've heard people do this before, but it's like, if you're talking for a living, I wouldn't be able to listen to that. I wouldn't be able to listen to somebody who can't pronounce words over and over. And the thing is too, it's like, you have people that can't pronounce shit, but then they make fun of themselves and they realize it. She thinks she's saying it right. That's the worst part. She sounds like the TF2 medic. The Kritzkrieg. All right, let's keep going here.
People were in control of the slave trade. They've buried a lot of it. Buried the Charlie Kirk story. What about his burial? How come we haven't seen anything about his burial? Alex Jones was just burying himself.
So I will give her a little bit of leeway. That might have just been just the way she speaks. Because it was consistent. Burial, burying. Like, maybe that's just the way she says, like, instead of burying. Like, maybe. I'm giving again, I'm not a Candace fan, but I'm going to give her a little bit of grace there. That, you know, some people just have a little bit of an accent with the way they say things. Might have just been her. A little bit of an accent with the way she says certain things.
Jones jumped into the foray. Mock me and Tucker Carlson. It's always got to be Tucker Carlson, Cameron Owens. And of course, the world is quite literally a stage. By the way, I always wonder where that expression comes from.
Now, this one was hard. Her not knowing where the world is a stage comes from. Again, more high school shit.
Can you look it up, Skylar? The world is a stage. Where is that from? I actually don't know where that's from originally. That would
I think that's even more embarrassing that she's like, Skylar, I don't know who the fuck Skylar is. Where has Skylar been with all these pronunciations? Why isn't Skylar telling her, hey, you're saying this shit wrong?
be interesting to see. Totally like insane Alice in Wonderland, and then like all of a sudden there's like a Cheshire cat who's like smoking.
Night
Again, Cheshire cat, like a little bit.
by Elie Wiesel.
Night by Eli Weitzel. Mentioning Elie Weitzel. Elie Weasel. Oh, it's Shakespeare.
Again, high school shit. You read Night in high school. You know it's Elie Wiesel. Because that is typically, if you were, maybe, I don't know if Candace Owens was an honors student or an AP student, but if you're an honors or AP, you typically will read Night by Elie Wiesel or in either history or English, because it is one of the most consequential books of all time. For the individual being a Holocaust survivor over in Auschwitz, writing about their experiences is one of the most harrowing books anybody could ever read. But to say Weitzel, Weasel, like, come the fuck on.
Shakespearean. All the world's a stage. Interesting. Very interesting.
You have a favorite book?
I read a lot. I don't know if I have a favorite book.
Nothing favorite? All right,
No
I'll take
favorite.
it.
Because that's what she is. She's illiterate.
The person that tells you they don't have a favorite book is someone that hasn't read. I mean, not to be mean, but I right away, someone asked me what my favorite book is. It's the Lord of the Rings series, right? As a trilogy, the Lord of the Rings, and that's bar none. I love the Lord of the Rings. I've read it at least 3 or 4 times now. But to say you don't have one, how much have you actually read? I don't know. But last few things, then I'm going to jump out of here. I've been here longer than I thought I was going to be. So I appreciate everyone that's watching. Make sure you smash the like button if you haven't already. So Basil the Great coming in with some great news for the world here, y'all. The Taliban announced the return of slavery to Afghanistan. Yay! The old Ghulam system, in which children were taken as sexual slaves and servants, have officially returned. Where is the left crying out against this? Where are the marches? Where are the speeches? Silence. And I mean, guys, what did we expect when we just gave the country back to them? Did anybody expect that they were going to sit there and be this great country? Like, and the fact that we're recognizing them as a government, like, are we going to go fight a war in Afghanistan again to end slavery, to remove the Taliban? Like, I don't think we're going to. I don't want to. I personally don't give a fuck. But it's like, holy shit. And the fact that it's like announced, they announced the return of slavery, like, the balls of steel. Like, go fucking get it, Afghanistan. Like, you know what? You do you, bro. You do you. We're bringing back slavery because we want to. Fuck all of you. I mean, it's wild how badly Joe Biden fucked that whole thing up. It is crazy. Random Raccoon saying, I was working. What the fuck did I just hear? You heard it right. The Taliban is bringing back slavery to Afghanistan. Kids are going to be sexual slaves again. And they announced it. I mean, again, I'm not willing to go and put boots on the ground in Afghanistan again. I'm not willing to do that. But this is, like, honestly, like, right here, you can look at this and say, every single child that is put into sexual slavery, every single slave that is had in Afghanistan from this point on is on Joe Biden's conscience. And that administration, every leftist that voted for him, it is on him because of how much he fucked up that basically pull out of Afghanistan, how they recognized the Taliban as an official government not too long after. It's embarrassing. It's an absolute embarrassment. But hey, we now know officially it is out in the open. Slavery is back and in vogue, apparently. So we can all take solace that at least somewhere in the world, they are openly proud of their slavery. But all right, last thing here, and I'm going to end with a doozy. This one here, coming from the Vigilant Fox on X. Disturbing. The UK just approved the Soviet-style system of digital control, and they're calling it a 15-minute city. Now, this is just after the UK announced that they were giving up on basically digital passports, digital currency. But oh no, they will not be deterred. The Telegraph now admits what so-called, quote, conspiracy theorists warned of all along. A technocratic surveillance state is here. Oxford is just the beginning. And the thing is, 15-minute cities have been something that the right has been talking about, God, for at least the past 5-6 years. Since the World Economic Forum presented it in one of their things where basically nobody leaves. Why leave? You got everything you need here. Walking distance, 15 minutes. We have a mini version of it right by me, and I fucking hate it. I think it's I tell everyone I do not like this place. I do not like this place. All right, let's keep going. You'll need a permit to leave your neighborhood. You'll be tracked by cameras. Go over your quota. You'll be fined automatically. This isn't just speculation. It's already happening, and labor wants it nationwide. Could you imagine? Like, you move into a gated community because it's safe, right? A lot of people do that. Could you imagine, though, that you move from this gated community, you're in there and you're like, I'm safe. And then all of a sudden, oh, why are you leaving? Where are you going? Why are you going there? Oh, you want to leave? You have to tell us where you're going. Fuck you, I got to tell you. I'm not telling you anything. But listen, this is what the people are voting for here. You want Keir Starmer? You want a Labour government? Enjoy. Drivers will be allowed just 100 days of, quote, free travel a year through traffic filters. Another permit gives 25 days through congestion zones. After that, you're penalized just for moving. But that's phase one. And again, people sit there and they talk, and especially us in America, we don't realize how good we have it for our freedoms, but we are willing to give them away. Random Raccoon saying, I still relish the silence of Joe voters when he was president. Oh yeah, they didn't say anything. Random Raccoon also says, yeah, that's not a fucking invasion of privacy. It's actually like the Ned Flanders Simpson episode. What the fuck? You know the one? Yep, I do. The real blueprint comes from the Arab/C40 report. Their 2030 vision includes, and Project 2030 is a real thing, 0 private vehicle ownership, because you can walk everywhere in 15 minutes. That's why it's a 15-minute city. 0 meat or dairy consumption, because we don't want to hurt the climate. Just 3 clothing items per year. They're really taking those dystopian movies and books to heart, where everyone just has a certain rationing of clothing, right? That's really taken to heart. 1 short haul flight every 3 years. And I'm surprised they're allowing that, because they're trying to end short haul flights in the UK. 2,500 calories of state-approved bioengineered food. Just remember, everyone, Soylent Green is people. Soylent Green is people. All tied to a digital ID and programmable money that controls what you buy and where you go and how you live. This isn't about traffic. It's about turning cities into open-air prisons, see how it works, and how close we really are. Watch Z Media. Full breakdown before it's too late. And this is a 16-minute video. If you guys want to go watch it, you can. But overall, like we always say, when you hear something is a conspiracy theory, just wait a little while when it becomes a fact. Random Raccoon saying, who asked for this? I don't live in the UK, but who the hell asked for this? Random Raccoon, if you go look up Project 2030, it is a project that lays out, and I believe I even have it in my favorites somewhere. Maybe we will go and maybe we'll do a day where we just go and Agenda 2030. That's what it is. Agenda 2030. Maybe one day we'll just go, and it's a sustainable development world. We will just go and look, at certain things. Agenda 21, the Sustainable Development Agenda, the UN, Event 201, Event 202, things from the World Economic Forum, especially in the past and shit like that. Maybe we'll go over all of those things. And we'll do a day where we look at, one at a time, and we go over all of I'll have things tabbed up, and we can look at all the things that they want to do. And a 15-minute city is one of them. It's been something that the globalists, the leftists have been talking for. It's another way of control. That's all it is. They're going to couch it in safety. They're going to couch it in ease of access to things. They're going to put your supermarket. They're going to put your doctors. They're going to put a little police force. They're going to have a little bit of everything within 15 minutes of walking distance, and you'll have no need to leave. Why are you leaving? Where are you going? You have to tell us. You're not allowed out of this gate until you tell us. Oh, and don't try to buy things that you're not allowed, that we don't want to let you buy, because all the currency in these places will be digital, and you can only buy what you're allowed to buy. Because if you buy too much of these things, sorry, it's not good for you. Random Raccoon saying, so yeah, let's support not being able to fucking do anything. That's smart. Does no one have survival instincts? That's some fucking South Korea type shit. Only excluding the fact that you won't be shot for leaving. I assume you're saying North Korea, but yes. And here's the thing. We're inching closer to that in the United States. The people that are doing it in the UK, the people in the United States on the left want those exact things. They're all the same leftist academics that say the same things. And I can guarantee you, if you live near a bustling suburban area, and especially some urban areas, you'll find something that will look very dystopian. A lot of apartment buildings with a bunch of little stores everywhere, kind of everything you need. Doctor's office located there, with a whole bunch of different practices. The only thing that'll be missing is kind of like a supermarket and a public safety thing, and maybe some gates won't be there yet. But go and look for it. Next time you drive around, like we have one by me, and it's creepy on both sides. There's a whole bunch of apartments. I call them stacks. There's doctor's offices there with a whole bunch of different practices. There's a whole bunch of food places, a lot of them good. And so Random Raccoon asking what's the benefit? So the perceived benefit is that you're not hurting the planet by driving a car. You don't need to leave. You can walk everywhere, bike everywhere within 15 minutes. So you don't have to travel far. You can work there because there's going to be plenty of opportunities for jobs. And the thing is, it's all control. It is all control, period. Leftists want to have control. Random Raccoon saying, what about Amazon, for example? Well, people will be allowed to go out to go work at some of these major places. If you need to work at some of these major places, there will be agreements that only a certain number of people will be allowed to leave to go work for these major places, and they'll get kickbacks from all these leftist places. What about shit where you need to get it from other countries? This is literally signing up for bare essentials. This is stupid. Are we dead ass? Yes. Yes, because here's the thing. The leftists only want us to live in subsistence. While they live lavish lives of people on the top, they want us lowly peons to live in subsistence and be happy with it. And that's the unfortunate truth if you ever read anything about leftist theory. They do not give a shit about the people. But on that cheery note, I'm getting out of here. I've lasted longer than I thought, an hour 50. I didn't think I'd be here this long, but I'm getting out of here. I know I didn't touch on some of the bigger things, but I had my monologue about Trump and stuff like that. Random Raccoon saying the plan is going to get fucked by other things. That is such a blatant cover up. Yes, this is true. But all right, everyone, I'm jumping out of here. I appreciate everyone for watching wherever you're watching from. Random Raccoon, it was good seeing you again. Nate, as always, you're the man. Coach Farrell, thank you. Connor, thank you for jumping in. OD, you're always the best. I will talk to everyone later. Tomorrow, we have This is the Ray coming on. We'll be doing an interview with him. He is a gamer on Rumble, and he has a pretty good following over there. He does a lot of FPSs, first-person shooters, doing a lot of Arc Raiders, a lot of Battlefield and Call of Duty. Go check out This is the Ray on Rumble. He's awesome. And he'll be coming on here, and we'll be having a chit-chat. And I'm excited for it. So thank everyone for watching wherever you watch from. YouTube, X, Facebook, Kick, Rumble. Make sure you go and subscribe to all those places. And if you haven't already, smash that like button and go follow us on the socials at The Alex Cuesta Show. So everyone, thanks for listening. I'll be back tomorrow. Going to be doing a fun interview. David will be here. Have a good one, everyone. So long, y'all.